the key to understanding our own health is to be a detective. Like, absolutely. What am I eating? What am I drinking? What am I smearing on the largest organ of my body? The skin absorbs everything, so it goes straight into the hormones, the endocrine system, the musculoskeletal system. Everything all functions through the skin as well.
I started teaching workshops 4 years later, and just that foundational knowledge of environmental chemicals, nutrition, stress. Those were the three pillars.
Welcome to SUNDaze Tea, a space for elevated conversations around wellness, beauty, purpose, and modern living. I'm Nicole Sherwin, and each episode I sit down with inspiring people who are creating meaningful impact in their fields, from wellness and creativity to healing, culture, and conscious living. Pour yourself a cuppa, settle in, get comfy, and join us for today's conversation. Welcome to SUNDaze Tea with me and my wonderful guest, Kheyrne Danu, who's joined us for a beautiful cup of tea, and we've chosen some energizing tea because she hasn't been feeling so well. So thank you for joining us, and I'm so honored to have you here in my home.
Thank you, Nicole. It is absolutely delicious to be here and spend this time with you.
Excellent. Shall I?
Please do.
Wonderful. So you have not been well, and my tea rituals are always very intentional. And I know that when we're not well and our immune systems are down, we need an energy boost, which is different from a caffeine boost. This is a much more sustained boost of energy, which helps the cells. It sort of reminds the cells to just wake up again and heal and get you back to where you need to be in order to do all the wonderful things you do. And on that note, tell us all about you, please. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm so grateful for beautiful healing tea right now.
Good. So who is Kheyrne Danu, and how did she arrive where she is today with what she is passionate about? I think is the question.
Wow, it started a while ago. When I was young, I wanted to study architecture, and then that became interior decorating and design. But I injured my back when I was 15. I broke my back somersaulting off a horse and started going to all the practitioners I could find in Cape Town to help me heal. And then I found an incredible woman who does craniosacral and kinesiology and acupuncture. She was a physio, but her repertoire is profound. And what she did in one session changed my life.
Tell us a bit about craniosacral.
Craniosacral is an incredible modality where you are learning to listen to the subtle flow of the cerebrospinal fluid and the fascia through your hands, and the listening and the correction are almost in the same note. You're basically holding space for the fluid body.
It's an incredible concept.
And the body feels your presence, uses your hands to almost push up against, kind of thing. So you're not really fixing the body. You're mirroring back to the body what it needs, and it's able to self-correct. So yeah, you're holding particular positions, but it's when I started really understanding that we don't need to force the body to heal. That a lot of the time we just bring it the tools and the information that it's craving, and it has the most immense ability to heal itself. But it needs the right support, and it needs compassionate presence.
And you discovered this at 15? After somersaulting off a horse on a Tuesday morning, as one does.
Yes, one does. As one does. It took me a few years. So I only discovered that at 21.
Okay.
So many years of chronic pain. Going to chiropractors and physios every week for years and years.
So this was your sort of pivotal moment?
It was my pivotal moment. So a lot happened at 21.
Okay.
At the same time, my body started crashing on a hormonal level, on a gut level, insomnia, severe mood swings, poor concentration, millions of symptoms.
It sounds like most people have most of those symptoms. So this is quite a important discussion we're having, because I think a lot of people are suffering with, if not some of them, most of them.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Often only happens around 35. So for me, it was
Early.
You have no choice but to heal your body, otherwise you can't function, and you certainly can't go to parties like other 21-year-olds.
So frustrating.
So yeah, it was extremely frustrating, and I immersed myself in the healing world. I was one of the youngest studying kinesiology and craniosacral, and I was working in health shops and going to all of these incredible workshops, and still I didn't realize a lot of my symptoms were linked to my hormones. So that took me till I was 27. And two interesting people that neither of them were actually practitioners. One of them was a health shop owner, and he looked in my eyes. He was studying iridology, and he said, "Oh, your adrenals are shot." And nobody'd spoken to me in those 6 years about adrenals. And the other one was the owner of a natural progesterone company. And she became my first teacher when it came to hormones. And today she's still, things that I learned from her, I still haven't heard anywhere else.
Wow.
She was the most incredible researcher, and she'd been through her own healing journey.
I don't think people realize the massive impact hormones have throughout our lives. They think like hormones in your early teens, because that's when you're shifting, and then hormones in your change of life at menopause. But right the way through, those hormones are governing everything that happens in your body.
Yes.
And that's how your wellness presents itself, through
Exactly.
your hormones. That whole endocrine system, I think, is something that conventional doctors don't really focus on, because they're not taught it in their studies.
Exactly.
It's that whole holistic approach that I'm so fascinated with, and which is why you're here as well, because I love these chats.
Exactly. So the moment that I started learning about hormones, I realized the link to my gut issues. I realized the link to my insomnia. I realized the link to my mood swings. And it just hit home that hormones are the directors. They tell every system, every organ in your body what to do, the same as the nervous system, but in a different way. So I dived deep. The internet had just come out. That long ago.
That long ago.
You can tell my age now. And I just started researching. There was so little out there. But I got the combination of understanding the environmental chemicals, that they were basically mimicking estrogen, and between 100 times and 1,000 times stronger than natural estrogen in our body. And that shocked me. 88,000 chemicals in our environment, body products, cleaning products, perfumes, car fumes, pesticides, bombarded, hair care, all of it.
We are bombarded.
We are bombarded, and there's so much we can do about it.
Correct. Only if you're conscious of it, though. And I think that's why these conversations are so important, because a lot of people are just being marketed to and getting the latest product because it looks great and some great packaging, but they're not deep diving into looking at the ingredient list,
Absolutely.
Googling or researching if those ingredients are harmful or beneficial. And I think the key to understanding our own health is to be a detective. Like, what am I eating? What am I drinking? What am I smearing on the largest organ of my body? What makeup am I putting on? You know, it looks gorgeous in all those lovely campaigns, but is it actually harming me? And the funny thing is, they don't realize that it's not just harming the skin. The skin absorbs everything, so it goes straight into the hormones, the endocrine system, the musculoskeletal system. Everything all functions through the skin as well, and the skin's quite a prolific indicator of what's going on inside, I find.
It's huge. When I told my ladies, I started teaching workshops 4 years later, and just that foundational knowledge of environmental chemicals, nutrition, stress, those were the three pillars. And most of the women were older than me, and fertility issues, perimenopause issues, PCOS, endometriosis, all of it. And for these women to hear that you absorb more chemicals through your skin than you do when you eat it, and they're just sitting there going, what? You know, these things that for you and I are so obvious and so simple are life-changing. So I spent quite a few years teaching hormone workshops, and I was very insecure because I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't even a qualified nutritionist, but I was an obsessive researcher, and that took me into health journalism, which I loved because I got paid to do what I loved. And I got to interview all my favorite people in the functional medicine arena, which was really fun. And then the nervous system component only came in much later. You know, Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory only came out 14, 15 years ago. So I started reading into that at that point. But then my body took me through a massive reset saying, you can't carry on the way you are. And I collapsed with a neurological disorder called dysautonomia. So my autonomic nervous system stopped working. My vagus nerve got damaged, and that affects every organ and system in your body yet again.
How did that get damaged? Or is it a process over time?
It was definitely when I work with clients with dysautonomia, there's always either long-term high stress or PTSD. So the system's already really been taxed for a long period of time. There's usually a gut issue. So I had a parasite infection that I couldn't clear.
That's a big one.
It's a big one. And I overdid trying to clear it.
That's also another one.
You can strip your microbiome from overdoing parasite cleanses. And then don't really like giving it so much energy, but COVID was part of the factor. So yeah, there were three factors that came into play for me. And but I collapsed hard and fast and nearly died, which doesn't normally happen. Often with dysautonomia it builds up.
But it sounds like quite a few different factors all at the same time, like out of balance.
Within a year, I was dealing with PTSD from leaving my ex when my daughter was 2. So it was still very tender times. And the parasite, that all happened at lockdown actually. So left my ex a month before lockdown, parasite infection during lockdown, and then 4 months later COVID.
That sounds about right, because I think that's what was put out into the world, mass fear. With mass fear comes all sorts of issues, ailments, problems, things to deal with, things to uncover. But the beautiful thing is solutions to find. And what solutions did you find?
I studied something called somatic embodiment with Linda Ty, who's Bessel van der Kolk's right-hand lady.
Somatic. Beautiful.
So soma is the body, and what we now know through the trauma-informed world is that we cannot rewire the nervous system without working through the body. And it's also not just about doing somatic exercises to regulate your nervous system.
So take us through your rebalancing, I'm going to call it rituals, because I'm just finding everything so healing within rituals. So you had this massive fear, this massive PTSD, this massive breakdown in your nervous system, your physical health, your emotional health, I'm sure. And now, what was the rebalance? What was the reset? What were the rituals?
Yeah, well, there was so much to work on at the same time. My neurotransmitters were scrambled, so I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. My heart rate was an average of 120 day and night.
Wow.
And I won't even go into the other symptoms, but it was huge. So initially I actually needed drugs, which I have not touched my entire life. I was brought up on homeopathy and herbalism. So that was humbling. That was humbling to go, okay, drugs have a place, emergencies, this is an emergency. They're going to allow me to stay alive, to be able to eat and sleep and breathe. I couldn't even breathe properly.
I think everything does have its place.
Everything has its place.
Yeah.
Then I was able to do the healing.
Good.
So I did a lot of gut healing, healing leaky gut syndrome for the second time. And there were a lot of supplements that I couldn't touch, which was interesting. So my old tools no longer worked, and I had to find a new way. But there were certain antioxidants that made a huge difference, like NAC. Adaptogens made a huge difference. But the main part of the healing, yes, there were certain supplements that were essential. 5-HTP was essential. But the main part really was going through the ritual process of whenever a wave moved through me, of it was like I was purging all of the discord that I'd held my entire life, and on my lineage side as well. It wasn't just me. I could feel these were stories from far back. So I'd have these waves of grief or anger or fear moving through, and they were so exacerbated. And I was trained in ways of working through the body, through the nervous system, of being so present and allowing myself to hold compassion towards what I was feeling. So even if there was fear, I wasn't afraid of the fear. I was able to go, right now I'm in deep fear, and that's okay. And I'm going to stay in my body. And that's the main thing with the nervous system. If nobody's home, your conditioning takes over. When we're present, when we're actually able to stay in our body with the discomfort, that's when the nervous system goes, oh, this is scary, but I'm safe. And now I can release that protective pattern. And that changed my life. So I would be sitting on the floor with my 3.5-year-old, experiencing panic attacks ripping through my brain back to back for 12 hours.
Wow.
And I was able to go, okay, I can only co-regulate her if I'm okay with these panic attacks, if I completely surrender into this experience. And I started doing an inner child process of holding my inner child on my lap, creating safety for her, letting her know that the panic attacks weren't going to harm her. And I saw my daughter regulating.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really profound.
It was profound. So I do this work now with mothers.
I love that.
When we work with our inner child or we create safety for her, then that's how we co-regulate our children. Not by teaching the children regulation techniques. Our bodies, for 7 years at least, are co-regulating them every moment of every day.
That's incredibly empowering. Because I think so many people, as we discussed earlier, don't take responsibility for their own healing.
Yeah.
And they don't have the tools to know how to do that. And I think it's such a joint effort. You go to wonderful healers and you find the right doctors, and if it's drugs needed, that's what it is. But what are we doing ourselves to make that switch to health, to make that switch back into balance? How are we taking that responsibility? And I think most people just pass a buck because it's easier to do that, and you can blame everything else. And if you get horribly sick, it's everyone else's fault. And it's so fascinating that you're teaching this now. It's so beautiful that you're teaching it, and I think you do a lot of womb work as well. Is that
I do.
correct?
That's the third component of my work now.
Okay.
So interestingly, the womb work started in my early 20s. No, actually 18. 18 is when I started doing womb work, and it was my private process, my sacred spiritual practice that I didn't share with anybody. And only now, when the nervous system component came in, did I realize that I had the 3 points that I needed to work with women, and that it was time to start, that I was shifting into my baby crone era, and it was time to start really owning how powerful this work is, and that I was strong enough to hold space for people with doing the womb work. And the reality is, the womb also holds the base of the nervous system. Our vagus nerve ends in our cervix. we know, anybody who does spiritual work, we know that the womb holds our lineage story, and it holds our feminine and our relationship to our feminine. And so many women are trying to function in this patriarchal reality in a very compromised state of how much of their masculine do they need to pull on to be able to exist in the society. And it's exhausting, and it's not our authentic expression. So the womb work is so key when it comes to hormones and the nervous system, in really feeling what the story is that we hold around our feminine. And when we start shifting our relationship to our body and our relationship to our feminine, then we see the hormones shift, then we see the nervous system shifting. But for so many of us, this is a 500-year-old story, right?
Absolutely. But what I find so amazing is how fascinating it is to keep uncovering these truths, these modalities, these passages that help us get to the next stage of wherever we're going. Big reason I wanted to chat to you actually is because without knowing anything about you, I ordered this product on Faithful to Nature because I was looking for just natural but deeply powerful herbs that would balance my hormones. And I ordered Super Thrive, which I have found to be incredibly powerful, incredibly nurturing. It's got mesquite, cacao, tulsa, chasteberry, moringa, astragalus, that's how you pronounce it, schizandra, ashwagandha, lion's mane, and turkey tail. And then the fact that it's organic is just everything to me. Love that. What I find so interesting is how I've been taking this and ordered it completely separately, and then how our paths crossed through a friend, and then you had a workshop, and then you found my product. So it's been a beautiful journey, and I'm so grateful to have connected with you. And I think the big thing I love about you is that you've been through all this deep pain, transition, ill health, but through it all you've got the most wicked sense of humor, and you laugh at yourself and you laugh at situations, and I love that. I think that's so part of healing as well.
Thank you. My best friend always says you can tell where somebody's been in their life through their sense of humor.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? It's a great compass, I think.
I think so.
I think when we take ourselves so terribly seriously, that's all we experience is terribly serious stuff.
Absolutely.
But if you like being thrown, the books being thrown at you with all sorts of things you got to deal with, I mean, what else can you do but just laugh and find the amusement in it all? I think for me it's definitely part of ritual and my healing journey is to laugh a lot.
Absolutely.
I think it's so healing. And crying is important, but laughing is equally as important, and also releases different endorphins and sets the hormones up in a different way. And God, we're so complicated, aren't we? How complicated are we?
We're so complicated, but at the same time, just the simplicity of this human experience, right? We get to laugh, we get to play, we get to take in the world through our senses, we get to spend time together and enjoy each other's company, we get to enjoy nature. We have access every day to the things that can bring us so much joy if we know how to let them in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to close this beautiful conversation. I'm not closing it. I'm just we're going to bring it to a beautiful crescendo by asking you, what are your daily rituals that you cannot do without?
Meditation, even if it's only a few minutes. Sometimes that can even be sitting at the traffic lights in the car as a single mother.
Yeah.
But really dropping into my body, feeling where I'm at, connecting with spirit, with nature. Everywhere I go, if I'm driving, I'm looking at the trees, I'm taking in nature. I breathe nature in. I dance with it constantly. Movement of some sort. So Tai Chi is a big practice for me, and belly dance is a big practice for me. So one of them in the day at some point. At some point, just lying with my child on the floor and rolling around like silly creatures. That's also brilliant, you know. So yeah, movement, nature, connecting with the people I love. My life is very simple, really.
It's beautiful. I find the most profound things happen in the simplicity, in the simple ways. And I think we overcomplicate our lives.
Yeah.
What's something that you simply will not tolerate anymore in your life?
A lot.
Just give us one for now.
I won't compromise my own needs. The need for nature, spaciousness as well. Just having enough time between things in the day to just come back to myself.
I love that.
Yeah. Getting to bed early, doing my practice.
So rituals, basically.
My rituals. I won't compromise my rituals.
I love that. I'm feeling the same way. You've driven all the way out here. You've taken time in your day, and I want to thank you for joining me by giving you a beautiful gift, which I hope will make your life just that much brighter and more lovely.
Oh, that is so kind. Oh, vitamin body oil. Did you read my mind? Did you? It's the middle of winter and my skin is so dry, and I've just run out of my normal one. That is beautiful. Look, guys.
I can't wait for you to try it.
I can't wait to try it.
It's a wonderful sun protection as well, just so that you know. I travelled over Europe just with that, and I never burnt once.
Okay, I completely
just so that you know. But it's super hydrating and really delicious nutrients for the skin and body.
Yay! I'm going to put a little bit on my hands.
You have to open it, twist it up. There you go. A couple of squirts. That's it. I love the smell as well, I have to say. It's just got a gentle,
fresh.
So you can use it face, body, hands, wherever you fancy. Enjoy.
So silky. Love it.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Pledge.